Hello, once again. Thank you for being part of the Force of Leadership Thoughts 2024. I'm excited to see you. I'm happy. I've been waiting for this for long. Thank you so much that you have been able to find the time to be with me. Take your seat, grab a cup of tea, grab a cup of coffee, whichever one suits you, and let us explore together personal leadership concepts. My name is Gideon, and I'm your host, thought leader, and a leadership communicator. Thank you once again for being part of this vision of mine. Thank you for being part of this concept. And I believe that we are here together to build each other up. Thank you so much that you are here with me. I couldn't have done this alone. Thank you so much. So, we're going to start and explore further the concept of personal leadership. We have dealt with a lot of background information and background insights on the nature, on the scope, and insights on personal leadership. But we're going to go a little bit further today, and thank you for staying with me on this short, precise, and impactful discussion. Let us begin as usual with the quote of the day. I hope this will bless your heart as a leader. It says, leadership does not exist to change things. Of course, you and I know that the purpose and the mandate of leadership, the calling to leadership, is not to change things. You don't want to allow yourself to be distracted by the minors while you are ignoring the majors. So, leadership does not exist to change things. It does not exist to change people. You and I know how difficult it is change is. On a personal level, I know how I struggle with improving myself, with making major adjustment in my own life. That no matter what I have heard people tell me or say or advise me to do, at the end of the day, it's still my own decision to make. And I've realized how difficult it is to make changes in my own life. Then you can imagine how difficult it is to try to change other people. Now you will understand if I say that leadership is not a calling to change people. Of course it is not. Right? It cannot change anything except most possibly the situations that prevents people from experiencing change. In other words, what leadership can do is to provide the channels, to provide the platforms, to provide the atmosphere, to provide the situation or create situations that can help people to make their own decisions concerning specific changes in their own life. And so the mandate of leadership basically, is to provide situations and platform for people to make decisions that will ultimately affect their own lives positively. And so it cannot change anything. There's nothing leadership can change except most probably the situations that prevents people from experiencing change. And that is the ultimate calling of leadership, to remove barriers, to release potential, and to push people into destiny through efforts and initiative and vision and mission and creative strategies that helps people to move forward, making the decisions by themselves. And so that is where we want to begin with today. And I believe that we would be impacted by the end of this short discussion. My goal is not to exhaust this topic, it's just possibly to inspire you, to get you thinking, to move you, and to inspire your heart towards meditation and application of some of the thoughts and principles that we are looking at together. All right. I'll see you shortly after now. Bye bye. Hello. Thank you for staying with me. We're going to continue in our thought sharing on the concept of personal leadership. And we want to examine shortly, why is it personal? Why is it personal? Okay, why is this leadership personal? Why does it have to begin with me? Well, we would see why it does begins with you. It begins with you basically because it affects your experiences. Your experiences are involved in navigating personal leadership. I have realized that most unhappiness, not all, but most unhappiness is usually because people do not know how to maximize the experiences of their lives. It can actually be a serious burden not knowing how to translate the experiences of your life in a manner, in a way that advances your life, that moves you forward in life. You would hear people say, I have been through this, I have been through that, I have seen this, I have seen that, but I don't seem to know how to bring all these puzzles together to make meaning out of life. And so we are either overwhelmed by the lack of understanding of how to translate experiences, how to translate events and the situations of life into something powerful and magnetic, something powerful and forceful that moves our life forward. It can really be a serious challenge. And I will tell you very frankly that most of the people that I know, the ones that have made success out of their life, are usually the ones that have mastered or learned during process how to use every bit of experiences of their life to make something better, to make something powerful, to make something magnetic, to translate it into personal success. And so if you're watching this video, you're confused. You're like, I have been through a lot in life, but I'm stuck. However, I do not know what my situation is telling me, what my experiences is telling me, or how do I possibly use my experiences to improve my life? That is a critical question. Because if you're going to be talking about personal leadership, it does affect the experiences of your life, which is very, very critical. Every leader is a storyteller. And so if you're going to be able to tell stories about leadership, you must be able to put your pieces together, your experiences shaped, forged, and used as a tool to push yourself and to move your life forward. So leadership is very important in the sense that our experiences are critical. Our experiences are very powerful tools and powerful motivations to move us forward in personal leadership. What else is involved? Our plans. Your plans are involved. What are you planning to do? What are you planning not to do? What are you planning to begin? What are you planning not to begin? And so plans or planning is necessary also as we discuss personal leadership. You're going to have to make progress. You're going to have to shift grounds. You're going to have to make tough decisions. You're going to have to put pen to paper. You're going to have to advance to do better than you did the previous time. And so planning is very strategic to personal leadership because planning provokes progress. Planning provokes change. And so we cannot discuss personal leadership without talking about planning personally. Again, relationship is involved. Relationship is involved. How have you managed your relationships? How have you maximized your relationships? It is personal because relationship is critical to who you are. Okay? It is personal because relationship shapes part of what we become. or shapes what we become in a way. Okay, so relationship matters, and we're going to talk about that extensively later on. And so don't forget, experiences matters, planning matters, and then relationship matters. Purpose, again, is another essential ingredient of personal leadership. It's important to be able to identify and to manifest your personal purpose. And you don't know how important that is. Like a popular speaker would say that when purpose is not known, then anything can go wrong. When purpose is not known, it's not identified, anything can happen, most essentially in the wrong direction. And so it is important to identify your purpose in personal leadership. I'm going to leave it to these 4 elements here. Don't forget experiences. How do I use my experiences? How do I maximize the ups and downs, the lows and the highs of my life to push myself forward? Critical question. Plan. How do I plan my next move? How do I plan my next change? Relationship, from the past, the present, and also the future. Very, very, very critical. Who do I need to let go? Who do I need to embrace? Who do I need to work with? Who do I need to bring myself closer to? Whether for mentoring or for coaching or whatsoever. But there's a need to begin to find meaning in relationships in order to push ourselves forward in personal leadership. Purpose, very, very important. All right, now let's do a little bit of examining. I would say I would have called it a definition, but let's examine before we talk about definition. Okay, so we're going to examine personal leadership in the light of this statement here. So if I ask how or what is personal leadership, not in an attempt to define, but to examine what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like. Okay, so personal leadership is identifying, defining, and pursuing key factors of fulfillment of success based on your life's mission. All right, identifying and defining, and then to pursue key factors of success that is based on your life's mission. Now, it's not unheard of that people are usually very scattered head, not very clear about their life's mission. It can really be a struggle for most people to articulate exactly what their life is about. You need to come to a point to realize that. And that is why personal leadership is very important, because you cannot get to a point where you can lead other people until you are certain, until you are strategically convinced that this is the direction of my life in terms of purpose, mission, and vision. Okay, you can't lead people to a place of confusion, and that might happen if you are not clear in your heart about your specific mandate or your specific calling in life and towards leadership. So it's important to identify and to define and then to pursue these important realizations, these important findings, and which ultimately culminate into your life's mission. Okay, and so let's look at another way to examine personal leadership. Okay, now it's developing commitment of present and future goals that combines current opportunity and future skills to accomplish strategic objectives that increases your personal value. So let's break this down. All right, so commitment, number one. Present and future goals, very important. Current and future skills, very key. These elements coming together to increase your value. And so we're talking about your goals for now, your goals for the future, attaching them or combining or integrating them to current opportunities that you have around you, and your future or the needed future skills to accomplish strategic objectives that moves your life forward. Now, don't let that confuse you. It's not a mumble jumble. Just pay attention carefully and seek out those points. Number one is the commitment. Commitment towards what? To goals. Commitment towards goals. Future, present, however. And then opportunity, which is very strategic. And future skills, which is also very key. And using these elements to improve and to increase your personal value, or rather the value of your life. Do not forget that the foundation of this discussion is, why is it personal? And what we're doing basically is to bring all these elements together that makes it very personal. Do not forget, we talked about experiences, plans. We talked about having goals, future skills, opportunity that comes together. All these elements coming together, your relationships, very important. Finding personal purpose, very critical. All these elements coming together to define who you are personally. Because if you do not have a personal meaning, you cannot have a public impact. Without personal meaning, there cannot be public impact. Unfortunately, what we drive towards so hurriedly is usually the public life. I can tell you, for example, that I have waited so long to bring myself out publicly to an extent. Not because I'm hiding myself, not because I'm too shy or too timid, but I have realized this powerful principle and truth a long time, years ago, that depth is important. Depth is important. And I would say that no matter how low you fall, no matter how low you get, but however, do not forget that it is only depth that can bring you up. And it's going to happen as if nothing ever happened. Again, no matter how low you fall, no matter how low you get, do not forget that it's only depth that can raise you back up. So depth is very important to build capacity, to build inner strength. And that's why personal leadership is so important to me, because I have practiced it in my own life. I realized that, hey, young man, build self first. Build self first. And that's why we are here today. We're going to talk more on this, but I want you to take time to examine all the facts that we've talked about here. And hopefully I would see you very soon, and we can now discuss even further. Again, don't forget to reflect on the various elements that makes personal leadership personal. Like I said, without personal value, there cannot be public impact. You are more important. It begins with you, it ends with you. I'll see you soon. My name is Gideon, and thank you for being part of the Force of Leadership Thought 2024. Bye-bye.